Well, howdy folks, how you doing? Welcome to Now That's What I Call Food.com. Episode 7. We have made it. We have finally made it past halfway, and I'm so happy. By the time we finish this episode, we will be halfway. We'll be past halfway. Anyway, guys, welcome. Do check out my website, www.nowthat'swhatIcallfood.com. So what have I got lined up for today? Well, let me start off by saying that I've had a lot of experience in restaurants. Yeah, it's like I've been dining, and there have been occasions where I've been to a restaurant I wasn't too sure of. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you guys have had this experience where you walk into a restaurant, you think that's not kind of my liking, or there's something wrong, or you're not sure. There's something that makes you feel that you're not sure about the food that they're going to serve you. So I believe that everybody should have a signature dish to test a restaurant out with. And guys, we are going to do that signature dish today. I'm going to tell you about one experience I had, and it was a terrible one. Do you know what? But the outcome was absolutely amazing. The guys there totally understood. I was married at the time, and we went out shopping in Southampton. I was living in Bournemouth at the time, so we went out shopping in Southampton. And we got a little bit tired and a little bit hungry, and I kind of knew the Slug and Lettuce. Slug and Lettuce is like a chain in the UK. My experience is based on the one in Victoria, and had a lovely experience there. So I thought, well, there's one in Southampton, let's just go there. We went in there. I had my kids with me, and the thing is, it was like when the food arrived, I noticed a few things that weren't quite right, but I was willing to forgive to a certain degree. Chips were a little bit hard, and then I tucked into the meat, and that was like not to my tasting. I was like, it was a little bit overdone. I don't know, whatever food I had, I can't remember now. But what I do remember is my son, he was eating away. And what I tend to do is I tend to share dishes. I love sharing, yeah? It's like, you know, have a taste of mine, I'll have a taste of yours, and it's like, let's see how it goes. And so we started sharing dishes out. Now the thing is, one thing I don't really do is vegetables, so I wasn't really tasting vegetables. And I turned other people's, my wife at the time, her dish, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of like, Alice was like complaining. Alice was the first one to complain. And she said, Dad, something's not right about my dish. And I was like, let me check it out. And I was like, no, that's not right. That's not right. I think it was her fries. They were a bit hard. Anyway, so because my meal wasn't that great and her meal wasn't that great, that's what prompted me to like just call one of the waiters over and go, you know what? Something's wrong. It's like not entirely happy. And then my son was eating away, and my daughter shared some of the vegetables from his dish, and they were like peppers. And she tasted it. It's like, Daddy, you gotta try this. It's like, this is disgusting. Right in front of the waiter, I tried the peppers, and they were moldy. Immediately, I had to spit it out right in front of him. I felt embarrassed. I really felt embarrassed by it. But you know what? I told him, I said, listen, you better check out all of your ingredients. Are they fresh? What the fuck is going on? Well, I didn't exactly say what the fuck is going on, but I asked him in a kind way, just check it out. Please have a look at your ingredients. What is going on? There's something not quite right about this. The fries are too hard. Whatever I ordered wasn't to my tasting, and what you just saw me do there was like, oh my God, no, never ever. So I went over, checked it out. He came back immediately with the manager. It's like, right, okay, we're willing to offer you a replacement meal. Now the rest of my family, they all disagreed. They weren't interested. And I thought, right, okay, so I turned to my signature dish. My signature dish tends to be steak and a standard sauce, peppercorn, béarnaise, hollandaise, whatever they have on stock, yeah? And it's like, so I basically said, okay, my family's not going for anything. I'll tell you what, I picked whatever steak they had on the menu. I think it was a sirloin. I said medium rare, fries with peppercorn sauce. Just keep it standard. They said certainly. They brought the meal back in, and honestly, it was the most divine meal I actually had. They really made the effort, and it came to paying the bill. And I said, right, how much do I owe you? And immediately he turned around and he said, listen, guys, if you hadn't come to us, we would not have known that our stock was not up to standard. And we've had customers coming in, walking straight out. We didn't understand why. They never even talked to us. I said, we'd like to thank you for that. On the house. The whole thing, on the house. We walked away. My daughter was the first. It's like, you got away with not paying. It's like, I had to tell her, it's like, no, that's not normal. It's like, you only do that when there's a genuine case, okay? And this was a genuine case. I said, I don't do this normally. I'm willing to forgive one or two things going wrong, but on this occasion, no, there were several things, and especially the peppers. It's like, no, that was unforgivable. I gave them the benefit of the doubt, and they turned it around to something wonderful. It was, honestly, at the end of it, I had the entire family eating off my plate. I was like sharing my plate out. And I was like, guys, you should have like ordered something. I mean, like, we were all hungry anyway. So it's like, but it turned out to be a wonderful experience. So today, guys, we are going to be cooking on episode number 7. Our lucky number 7. I've reserved this for me. Yes, this is for me. Yeah. We are going to be cooking, and I found a very, very good cut of meat, by the way, a fillet steak. Now, I know that some of you guys have been looking at my website, and I was originally going to go for a rump steak. Rump steak is not available at the moment, and that's why I had to go for a fillet steak. Fillet steak is absolutely amazing as well. It's look at the cut of that. Hardly any fat on that, and I thought, yeah, that's what I want. So I switched to that. And what we're going to do is we're going to be, as you know, with meat and fish, I don't like to over season it. So we're going to do something basic. I'll show you what we're going to do with it. We're going to marinate it in butter, garlic, salt, and peppercorns. Simple as that. What we're going to do is we're going to leave it for 2 hours to sit so that the ingredients can kind of like dissolve into the meat. And it'll be a juicy, juicy steak. For the sauce, I've got all these ingredients out. Now, before we go, oh my God, what the hell? We're going to do a peppercorn sauce. So we are going to we're going to go for a standard dish here. What we're going to do is we're going to prepare the sauce in 2 phases. I don't know why I put this here. This is part of the second phase. Anyway, the first phase will be, whilst we're waiting for the meat to be done, we're going to be preparing the peppercorn sauce with the granules. I use Bisto gravy granules. I've got 2 cubes of OXO cube as well, beef stock. We're going to add in some peppercorns. Not many, just a few. I'm making a meal for 1, by the way. And to thicken it up slowly, we're going to use this. But we're also going to be frying the shallots. And I've got behind there 2 cloves of garlic. We're going to be adding some red wine, just to give it a little kick. And also some Scotch whiskey as well. Now what we're going to do is, whilst we cook that, you see these other ingredients on the side? These are optional ingredients, just in case I need them. Guys, if you've seen in my other videos, you know that sometimes I go by taste, and so sometimes I may vary the ingredients. So what we got here is we got the basic ingredients. This is just going to be comprised of the standard peppercorn sauce as we know it. But as you guys know, I like a little kick to it, and I like it to be memorable. So I've actually picked out lemon juice, toasted sesame oil, Liam Perrin's Worcester sauce, just in case I need it, and balsamic vinegar to give it that little extra kick. Obviously, this is based on the ingredients that I've got, and I think this is going to work really, really well. With regards to herbs, spices, it don't need any. I think it's going to have plenty with the peppercorns. That's going to be the main ingredient because it's going to be a pepper sauce. By the way, I just wanted to say a special thank you very much indeed for one special lady that I've had in my life who introduced me to this item, toasted sesame oil, and also the garlic crusher. And I just want to say thank you very much indeed for being a huge, huge influence in my life. And I'll never forget that. So what we're going to do, guys, So got that out. It's a sentimental thing as well. You know, you gotta make it personal. Why not? Once we're gonna do that, we're gonna prepare the steak for starters, and we're gonna leave it sitting for 2 hours with these ingredients. Okay, I got it played out. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cover it in cling film, and let it sit. Then we're gonna start preparing the basic ingredients that's gonna go with the sauce. The reason why I'm gonna do it in 2 phases is because when we cook the meat, I want the juice from the meat to be incorporated as part of the sauce. So this is going to be a 2-step process in making the peppercorn sauce. Are you following me now? Do your best. Should we get started? Yeah, I think it's time. Let's get started. Right, guys, we're going to start by opening the steak up. Damn it. Oh, that's a nice juicy steak. I've had this out of the fridge for 1 hour already, so it's looking at room temperature. It's nice and moist. It's like, that's a beautiful piece of steak there. Okay, guys, I mean, like, to give you an idea, in a restaurant you'll be paying like at least 25 to 30 pounds for that sort of steak. Yeah, that's like amazing. Right, we're going to take a little bit of butter out. I've taken the butter out for a few hours as well. What we're going to do is we're going to just rub it on. Just rub it on the steak. Keep rubbing it until you see a nice kind of like a yellowish kind of texture on it. Yeah, so you know that you rubbed it in very, very well. Just keep rubbing it in. Rub it in harder if you need to. Butter starts melting. That's good. Don't matter if you got too much butter on your fingers. We're going to use that to cook. I'm not going to use olive oil. Some recipes recommend using olive oil. I don't believe in that. I want to cook the steak in butter. That's my favorite. This is salted butter, which gives it that little extra kind of like tang to the steak itself, without actually cutting in too much into it. So you can see it's kind of like falling apart already. I don't know why it's falling apart. Oh, I see now. There's a bit of fat running through the middle of it. And that's okay. But I know this is going to be a good steak. There, just rub it in. Rub it in nicely. There. And we can use the butter later on to cook with. That's not a problem. Garlic salt. The reason why I'm not using pure garlic, oh, that's too much. I'm going to spread that out a little bit. The reason why we're not using pure garlic on there is because I don't want the extra texture of the garlic to be on the steak. I just want the steak to speak for itself. That's all. So just rub that in. That's good. And the same on the other side. Let's just rub that in. Come on, come on. That's good. And give that nice little flavor to it. But I want the steak to taste as much of the steak flavor as possible. So that's what I'm going to keep it at. Trying to keep that together. That'll be good. And then, guys, we add the pepper to it. Here we go. I'm using the peppercorn with the grinder. As I said before in my earlier videos, that peppercorn grinder is actually good if you want to bring a stronger flavor to it. And just for that extra measure, we're going to rub the extra butter on it. Just spread it out a little bit. That's all. Good. And what I tend to do is I tend to smell even raw meat just to make sure it is heading the right direction. So that's just, oh, it smells good. Oh yeah. Oh, that's going to be a good steak. That's all it needs, guys. Yeah. Keep it simple. Yeah. So let's take the knife away. Now we're going to cover the steak in the cling film. Okay, on the plate. I'm going to leave it standing for 2 hours. That gives us time to prepare the first phase of the sauce. There. As I explained, air makes food react, no matter what. Food and drink, both combined. Yeah? We don't want the air to affect the taste of the food, so that's why I'm covering it in cling film. And that's good enough for me. Right guys, I've got the onions chopped up. I've also added an extra garlic. So basically we got garlic here, which is 2 cloves. I've got another 2 cloves here. Why have I separated them out? Well, here comes a surprise. We are going to be doing 2 sauces. We're going to be doing a peppercorn and we're going to do a red wine and onion sauce. Now that comes in similar kind of like ingredients used, with the exception of one of these. I'm going to be using red wine vinegar as well as the red wine in the red wine and onion sauce, as you're going to see later. I realized that I had a lot of onion left over, so it's like I had to use it up. And my original plan was to do red wine onion sauce, and I'm sticking to it because I wanted to do it. Fuck it, we are going to do 2 sauces. So this part will comprise, as you can see, the smaller amount of onion here. This will comprise the peppercorn sauce, and I've used a greater amount of onion for obviously the red wine and onion sauce. So now the ingredients are cut up, we are going to start preparing the sauces, and the base ingredients are practically the same. So here we go, guys. I hope you like the surprise, by the way. Guys, to start preparing the sauce, I want to air the wine a little bit. I want it to air because it gives it a much bolder flavor. So, guys, this is how you do it, yeah? It's like, just take the freaking top off the damn thing. It comes off. You see a lot of waiters struggle with this, yeah? You see, look, just come straight out, yeah? It's like, that's how you can tell the people with experience in opening a wine bottle with a cork, and those who don't have the experience. Anyway, whatever. I prefer opening it stable like this because I'm unstable. Not emotionally, I hope not. No, I just got a balance problem, that's all. Right. I can't believe it. I can't believe what I'm explaining. Right, here we go. Done. Wine bottle opened, we're going to let it air. Right guys, we start with the peppercorn sauce by putting in some gravy granules. So let's just put in about that much. I don't know if you can see, but it's about that kind of full. Let's have a look. Just go by whatever you feel. Okay guys? With that, we're going to add the 2 stock cubes. And this is how we do it. Just crumble it in. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect, because we are going to add some hot water to it eventually that will soften it up. It's cool. Now guys, we add in the garlic by crushing it in. Nice. Now we add the black pepper. Let's say I'll go by taste. Doesn't matter. I'll find out when I put the hot water in there. See how strong it feels. To me, that's about right. Because we are going to add peppercorns as well. To that, before I even put the water in, I'm going to put some red wine in there. About that much. We're going to mix that in. And then just smell it. Just because this is the base, basically. Yeah, you gotta get to make sure the base is right. I'm gonna smell this and see what it smells like. It smells good. That smells real good. We're gonna add the hot water in now and see how thick we can make it. I've already boiled some hot water. Bearing in mind, this is a meal for one, yeah? It's like, let's mix that in. That smells real good. That smells exactly the way I want it. Now I'm going to taste it. It's a little bit daring to taste it at this stage, but you gotta. You're not even measuring ingredients out. Oh yeah, that's got a good bold flavor. It's got a very strong kind of like it's got a strong gravy flavor. It's got a strong stock flavor, shall I say. That's good. We're going to leave that aside for a second. Right guys, I just added olive oil to each one of these. Let's start this thing up, shall we? Then we're going to put in the onions. Right guys, onions going in. This is going to be for the peppercorn sauce, and this is going to be for the red wine sauce. So we put less of the onion in the peppercorn sauce. That comes to a heat. And the rest of them can go in the red wine sauce. Let's heat that up, shall we? There we go. Well, the base sauce is the same. Where it'll vary is in the ingredients we start adding. Smells good already. Smells good. Right. Start adding. From the mixture that we made earlier on, we're going to mix in that in there, and then that in there. We're going to let that come to a heat more than this. We could do it a little bit more. There we go. Evenly spread out, roughly speaking. Let that heat up. So far we got two identical sauces. I'm going to taste this one because this one's going to come to the finish sooner. I taste good. Needs more red wine. It's got to be a red wine onion sauce. Put that much in there. Mix it in. I'm going to mix that one a little bit. I'll keep an eye on that one. Right, on this one we're going to add some cream. Smells disgusting. But it's got to go in, right? Let's get something separate for that one. Get you mix you in. Mix you in. Make it a little bit more creamier. And we'll go by flavor afterwards. It's fine, it's cool. It's kind of taste you as you go along. That needs a tiny little bit more red wine. That's tiny for me. how much I drink. I'll blame it on my ex-wife for telling me that I'd start drinking red wine because her grandfather insisted. Oh my gosh. Right, let's rinse this out. Let's see how it's going. We could put one sauce to bed now. That's this one. This one's done. So I'm going to put this off the heat and turn that off. We're going to concentrate on this one now. Right. Doing two things at once. We're going to put in the peppercorns. Yippee! About that many. I've taken about half the packet there, guys. Comes in 2 sachets. Mix those in. Smelling about right. That's smelling a bit right. We're going to add to that whiskey. Remember, these are still the base ingredients. I haven't even started on the optional ones yet. Want they to thicken up a little. Now that I put all the ingredients in, I'm happy to taste that. Let's taste it. Remember, guys, I am looking for a flavor that's rememberable. Man, that's a lot of whiskey. Right, that needs more pepper. We got enough peppercorn, so we're just going to add pepper. Grind it in. There. Needs a lot of pepper. Try that out. It's hard to do with a plate right in front of you. Let's try that. Needs a bit of smoothing from the pepper. That's pepper heavy. I'm going to put in a tiny little bit. I'm going to press this. Oh my god! That stuff is strong. I'm going to put in a tiny little bit of toasted sesame oil. Just a tiny little bit. That's it. We'll play about the flavor a little bit. Remember, guys, I am looking for this to be memorable. I don't want it to kick your ass off the table. But I do want it to be memorable and peppery. It's got to be peppery. That's good. Needs a little lemon juice. Oh man, that's got a good pepper kick to it, that's for sure. Oh wow. That is a sauce you will remember. Remember, guys, I'm thinking of how it would go with the beef. That's good. That's good. Just a tiny little bit more lemon juice, though, just to tame it down a little. My gosh. Oh, that's good. That just heat up a little more, and we're done with that for the moment. Perfect. Good. We can put that aside, ready to do the steaks. Well, the steak in question. Let me make sure that that's okay. The heat off on that one. We'll try that again. I love that. Oh yeah. Just a tiny little bit of whiskey. That's it. I feel like it needs a little bit more whiskey. That's all. Mix that in. Taste it as that comes off the heat. Guys, that's perfect. I love that. That's great. I need to taste this again. Remember, these are the base sauces we've just done. Oh my gosh, it's got a great texture, this one. Perfect. We're there. Just going to add a little red wine vinegar to this one. I want that little kick. I just want that little kick. If that's too heavy, we'll just put more red wine in it. Fuck it. This is how you mess about with the flavors, guys. But you know what? Flavors are subjective, and this is what I tell you on my website. You play about the flavors as much as you want to and what you want to get out of it. That's all. That's done it. That has done it for that one. I'm going to try this one just to make sure I'm happy with it. Kind of like going all over this. Oh yeah, happy with that one as well. It's got a lovely strong flavor. I'm going to take both of these off the heat until that cools down, and then we'll transfer it back, and then we'll start the steaks. Remember guys, we're not done yet, because what we're going to do is we're going to add the juice from the steak into these sauces as well. That's the final step. Great. Right guys, now that the heat is now turned down relatively low on that one, we can transfer these back. We're going to start up this one on high heat. This one here. Move that out the way a little. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these on a little bit as well, just to simmer them. Okay, because I want them still to be warm, but I don't want them to overheat. I've got my usual skillet out. Just putting that down. We can start by heating that up. And whilst that's heating up, I'm just undoing this little bit so that I can get the butter out. The excess butter that we didn't need from the meat. In you go, pal. Good on you. Just waiting that for the heat up. When you start seeing the butter sizzle up a little bit, time for the meat to go in. And you can feel it because it starts to sizzle. Good. Leave it to sizzle. You can move it around the pan a little. Make sure it soaks up all the butter it can. Now guys, I like my meat medium rare, so it's got to be done about 2.5 minutes each side. If you want it done a little bit longer than that, you obviously got to leave it a little bit longer. So if you like yours medium, I'd say about between 3 minutes and 3.5 minutes. Obviously, if you'd like yours well done, then you go up to about 5 minutes time on each side, that is. I'm just spreading this about. I want it to cook on one side. Don't pat it, guys, okay? Just don't pat it. Just move it around the pan. It's fine. Yeah? Because if you pat it, let the goodness come out of it. You want it to stay in there. That tenderize the beef. Just move it around a little. Right. To make sure it's even done on each side, you have the time. Don't stick strictly to the timelines that the recipes give you. Just go by feel. You go, actually, that's cooking too much on one side. Just twist it over, turn it on the other. You see the texture it gives? If you cook it in the skillet, it gives you that nice, stripy look. And remember guys, you just turn it over again. Just make sure you get it in the right spot so you keep those lines. Those lines look good on a steak. You can generally feel how well a steak is done just by a little pat, that's all. I wouldn't do that too often though. Only do that when you think it's ready. And for me, that's about ready. That's a nice juicy steak. I think it's time to get into plating it up. Turn the heat off. Plate it up. What we're going to do with the sauce, the rest of the juice that's in there, is to share it between the two sauces. So, little waste going on. I'm doing it in proportion based on the size of the sauce I've made. I obviously like red wine, as you could tell, so I'm doing a little bit more in the red wine sauce. Now, because that's simmering away, and we know the sauce is done, all you gotta do is mix it in. Start mixing that in. And now the final taste test on both sauces. I mean, look at that. That looks amazing. Final taste test. Am I happy with these sauces now? Let's take one peppercorn. I don't want many. That's good. I think that could do with a little bit more pepper. Smoothen that out. Got a strong taste of pepper in my mouth. Need to rinse that out. That could do with a little bit more pepper now that I put that in. That could do with a tiny little bit more red wine. First, let's start with the red wine vinegar on that one. Remember guys, this is just a finishing touch. There. I reckon that should do it. I'll be happy with that one. I think I'm pretty sure about that. And this one, pepper. Just a tiny little bit of pepper. There. Mix that in. Oh, that smells good. That smells real good. I reckon I got there with this one. Perfect. That's what I wanted. Shit, it's all the heat. Perfect. That's what I wanted. It's got a great red wine flavor. I gotta just put these off the heat because that's too high on that one. Anyway, we're ready to serve. Right guys, what you got is you got peppercorn sauce on this side and you got red wine sauce on this side. I love my red wine sauce, so I will be trying that one first. Peppercorn sauce is obviously stronger than the red wine, so I've got to go with the red wine first. Let's go for a taste test. Cut that little bit off there, since you're on the red wine side. Oh yeah, that does it for me. You see guys, you see the texture of the meat itself. If I can get the sauce off it, I can show you. Look at that, nice succulent pink flavor. We'll try a little bit more of the red wine sauce. Perfect. That's a real good steak. Now I'm going to try the peppercorn sauce. This is my usual taste test by camera. First, got a nice succulent bit of beef there with red wine sauce all over it. Let's give it a go. The meat itself is delicious, and the sauce I'm very, very happy with. Now we're going to do the next one, the peppercorn sauce. Right guys, peppercorn sauce. I'm going to be sauced out with this, but I love my steak. The peppercorns are really doing it for the peppercorn sauce. That's always going to be a magical ingredient. But what I love about it is that little tang that I got, and I love the flavor of the tang. And that is that mixture of the lime juice as well as the other stuff that I put in. Oh my gosh, that's got such a lovely flavor. It's a creamy texture. It's like, I'm very happy with both of those sauces. Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, it's my favorite dish and it's come alive. But you see, the magical ingredient, guys, behind that has to be the meat. Yeah, does it for me. In this particular case, I am very, very happy with my meal. And I mean, honestly, I'd invite you guys over, and it's like, we could do this. This is a simple dish. Guys, thank you very much indeed for your time. Check out my website, www.nowthat'swhatIcallfood.com. Join me, guys, next time. Next episode, we are going to be departing from meat and vegetarian, obviously. But I've only done one vegetarian dish, so I've got to think about a few more of it. That'll be for season 2. I've got seasons. This season is now filled out for me. I know exactly what I'm going to be doing to the end. So join me next time, guys. Episode 8 will be Start of Fish. So good luck, guys, and enjoy. Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah. Loving every moment. Take care now.